Hello and welcome to AorbTech. Today we're going to discuss continuous series of the Python Learn to Python series, and in this session we're going to discuss briefly object-oriented programming part 1. The agenda of today's session: first we will briefly discuss how we can create class, then we will see object, after that we'll see some attributes such as class and instance, and then we will see self parameter and statistical method, and in the last we will see a very important concept which is constructor. So let's start. Before moving to a class, let's see the definition of object oriented programming. Solving a problem by creating an object is one of the most popular approach in the programming. If I see the definition, OOP is a way of coding where you make things in your program act like real life things. For example, a car known its color and speed, it can be drive or stop. So that's the example of object oriented program. Now we'll see class. A class is basically a template. You can also call a blueprint for making object. If I give the example of a class, a car will be our class, and then we will write some method. Don't worry, I'll explain the method later in this video. Just assume that method is basically a function. So we write a function inside class. One can be a speed, second can be a color, then it can also be some function such as drive or stop. So let's create a class. Just wanted to show you. Let's say that we create a class name will be a car. For now I'm just passing, not writing anything. We'll write the example later after seeing the definition of object, then I will give you full example. So this is how we can create a class. Just write class and then whatever name you want to write of the class, and then you fill in by writing methods and so on. So if I give another example, let's say that I wanted to class and I wanted to say that school, just pass it for now. So this is how we can create a class. Now we'll move forward with the next topic, which is object. After that we will see a proper example of class and object. Now we'll see object. An object is a real things you create from a class. If I explain more better way, object is basically initiation of a class, which means once the class is defined, template is defined, memory allocated only after object initiation. So if I give the example of car, a car is a blueprint, a red Toyota is the object. Now we will create a class. So class, the name of the class is car. After that we write a method of a class, and let's say that I wanted to give the name of the method is just name, and then I will pass self. Don't worry, I'll explain self later. Just need to understand how we can create a class and initiation of object after creating a class. So let's say I wanted to print, I want to use a string for that, and I wanted to say that car name is, and then I would say that self dot name. So now what I did here I create a class, and then I define a method inside class, and I gave the name of the method is name. Self, don't worry, I will explain later. Now then what I'm doing here, basically I wanted to create object and I wanted to fill some object. Let's say that now I'm going to initiation of my class, and let's say that I wanted to say the name car name should be, I'm defining my class here, sorry, C is capital here, and then now I am filling my object, and let's say the car name dot car is equal to Toyota, and if I print car name dot car, it will show my Toyota. Now I'll explain how it's work. What I did here, first I create a class. After that I write a method. You can write a multiple method, for example name, function of the car, color, etc, etc. So I write a one method here, and the name of my method is name, and then I wanted to print basic car name. So here if you see the code, you can see clearly I basically define a proper template here. So my class template is ready. After that, what I am doing here, basically I'm initiation of my class, which is object, and then I filling the memory what I write here in the class. So I write car name, which is basically car, then I just recall my name like method name, and then I write Toyota, and simply I print it. So what I get, Toyota. If I wanted to say for example another name, let's say I wanted to say BMW, I don't need to initialization class every time. So if I say BMW and if I print it, I will get BMW. So what happened here, I can fill the object with the different values because my template is defined here. So this is how you can create a class here. So you can also write a multiple method. For example, let me give the same example, and then I wanted to write the method which could be, let me write from scratch. So let's say that I wanted to write the method name is color, and I wanted to print the color value as well. So now we have, I just write, now I have to initialize my object. Let's say that car name, and let's say I just write car, or maybe I just write the simply car model, I would say that. And now I just recall the name and method. I just wanted to print the name, also I want to print the model of the color. Something happened here. What's the error? Car model name, sorry, I just have to be, don't need this parenthesis, not really sure my name. Perfect. Okay, so what I did here, I basically create a class. I write a two method. One method is basically representing the name of the car, and the second method is basically representing a color. I already defined a template. In the template you can fill the value by initiation class, so you can write any name of the car, you can write any color of the car. So what I did here, first I initialize my class. So this is basically, this initiation of a class is basically object. This is a definition of object. Now what I'm doing here, I am basically calling my first method and filling the object with the value of BMW. After that I'm calling my second method and I'm filling the value with the black, and after I'm just printing the value. So as you can see that BMW and black. So this is how you can create a class, which means you can make your own class. Take any real life example, for example airline booking, transportation, or for example job application or anything else. Then you can write the method and you just basically filling the object in this template, and that's how it's work. So I hope it's understand for you. Now we'll see two important concepts. The first one is class attribute and the second one is object attribute. So these are two most important concepts that we use in class and object. So let's see. Now we'll see two most important concepts that we used most common in object and class. The first one is basically we discuss now is class attribute. After that we will discuss object attribute as well. So what is the definition of class attribute? Class attribute is basically attribute that belongs to a class rather than object. So it's basically directly associated with the class. So if I show you with the code example, so is let's say that I wanted to write a class and class name is car. Now I wanted to create a class attribute, and let's say that my name of class attribute is BMW, let's say that. So now I'm initiation of my object and it's called C, and I want to print my class attribute and it will return BMW big. And what I am doing here, I basically what I'm doing here, I'm basically create a class and then I write a class attribute which is BMW, and after that I just initiation of my class and then I printing my class attribute, so which return me a BMW. I can create another class attribute, for example color, I would say that black, and I can print another attribute of a class which is color, so it will return me BMW and black, as you can see. So if I want to change the name of class attribute, how you can do that? So I would say class and then I call my name of the car, just take one example here, and then I say that car name is equal to car, and now I wanted to change my class attribute. How I can do that? So simply I can say that car name dot name is equal to Toyota, and then I print it, and something happened which is anyway. So as you can see here, I change my class attribute. So if I explain what I'm doing here, I create a class. The name of the class is car, and then after initiation of class object, what I did here, I just change my class attribute name. So car name dot car, replace BMW with Toyota, and simply I print it. So this is how class attribute is work. Now we'll move to a next topic, which is object attribute. Now we'll see what is object attributes? Previously we see the class attribute, we also see a few example of class attribute. So object attribute is basically belong to a object rather than class itself. So if I give you example here and I wanted to say class which is car, and then let's say that I create a name of the car is basically BMW. Now I'm going to initialization of my class. Let's say that car1 is equal to car, and then I print my value of my value of class, and I get my BMW. Now what I am trying to do here, this is example of class. So now I wanted to create my object attribute. How I can do that? So let me remove this one. So car1 dot color is equal to black, and now I wanted to print my object attribute. So print car1 dot color, I will get black. So what I did here, I create object attribute which is basically black. So this is my class attribute, this is basically a object attribute. It's not belong to my class attribute itself, but it's belong to my object attribute itself. So if you can see, this one is basically linked with the class attribute, but this one is not. This is separately, and this is basically object attribute. So the next concept that I am going to explain is self parameter. And self parameter is nothing but it's just object itself. It lets object use its own data and own function. If I gave you example of car as a class name, and then self dot color, which mean that my color. So let me show you with example. Let's say that I wanted to write a class, and class name is basically car. Now what I'm doing here, I'm going to write a one method, and I'm going to write the method name is color. Then I'm passing self parameter, but also taking one parameter which is let's say that color. After that I'm going to initialize my object which is self.color, and then I wanted to print my car color. So how I can do that? So let me initialize my object, and I'm going to write car1 is car, and I wanted to fill the value with the object is, let's say that brown. And now I wanted to run this program, and as you can see that car color is brown. So this is how object is word. As I said that if a color say that self dot color, which mean that my color, car color in this example. For so I hope it's clear for you. Maybe one question for you, maybe you can use other name instead of self. So let's try. Show same. Instead of self I set up slf, SLF and SLF. Will this work or not? Yes, it will definitely work. You can call any name instead of self. So this is how you can write and define a self inside method and calling the object name as well. So I hope this concept will clear for you. So next we are going to see what is static method. A static method in Python is a method inside a class. So if I see the properties, the first property, we do not use self or a class while writing static method. First thing. The second thing, we are writing a function inside class, normal function, as we write uh, without class, for example. So for that we just need to mention underscore static method, and then we just write a normal function. And last and very important thing, it belongs to a class, not to any one object. So let me show you an example. Let's say that I wanted to write my class, and my class name is basically a car. Oh sorry, it's markdown. I have to do in the coding. So let's say I wanted to write my car, and then as I said that writing a static method, first you need to define. So you just write underscore and then static method. Now I wanted to write my color, or maybe name, sorry, and I just wanted to write name and I wanted to print it. And if I go down, I just have to finish my class car1 is equal to car, and then car1 dot name print, and what will happen, it will print my car name BMW. So as you can see that we write here a static method and we didn't use any self parameter inside the function, the first property. The second property, as I mentioned, that it's work like a normal function. As you can see, this is a normal function without adding a self parameter stuff. And for that, as I mentioned, that you need to write a static method in start, and then whatever function you write, it will be look like a normal function. And last important thing, it's belong to a class, not to object. So this is how a static method is work. So maybe I can give you another example, and I say that class, and I wanted to say calculator. Let's say that calculator, and I'm writing my static method. I just write, don't need for adding method, I just need only add here, and now I'm going to print my results. If I print my the sum of the result is this one. Okay, so here I show you another example. I create another class which is calculator, then I'm using my static method. In static method I am adding one function, and this function is what's doing here is basically taking parameters and return after sum up. So I just initialize my class. This is basically object. After that I'm passing my parameter, which means I'm filling object in the class template itself, and then I am printing my values. so the sum is 15. So this is how a static method is work. Next we're going to discuss constructor. It's a very important concept to use in class and object. A constructor is basically a special method. It's run automatically when you create object first property. The second, it always has a self parameter as a first, and then plus some other parameter based on your program. So let me show you the example. Let me say that I wanted to write a class, and class name is car. Now I wanted to take my first method, which is basically a constructor. So I write my constructor. So the way of writing is basically you have to write a 2 underscore init 2 underscore and then parentheses. As I mentioned, it will take first parameter as a self and plus other parameter based on your program requirement. Here I just wanted to print my car name, that's why I use one parameter. You can use other parameter, for example color, speed, or whatever. So let me show you. So if I say that car dot one, so that one, and I wanted to say that where run, it will say that car name is Toyota. So simply is run as soon as the object is initialized. So as you can see the output here, simply writing the constructor, you just have to write again 2 underscore init 2 underscore, and this is basically how you write your constructor. And this is basically used most of the programmer using a constructor and some other method. Let me show you a proper example. Let's say that I wanted to write a car, and then I said that self parameter, and then I make, and then I wanted to say display of the value and so on. Okay, so let me print and then I will explain how it's work. Okay, so what I am doing here, first basically I write a class, and the class name is basically a car. After that I'm writing a constructor here, and then I'm taking a 3 parameter. One is make, second is model, and the years. After that I'm just initialize my name of those parameter, and then I write my another method, and method name is basically display all the information that I put here in this object initiation. So basically I just write make Toyota, name of the car, then model is basically Corolla, and then year is 2020. And after that I'm just simply display the results while print car1.display info, which is this one, and I just using f string here, and I'm going to return my results. So this is how I write constructor here. So you can take a multiple example here. For example, I take a class and I wanted to university, then I pass some parameter name, for example department, university name, or maybe the specific object, and after that I am using different method, department functions, program subject function, and so on. So this is, you can make your own program and write based on your problem statement. I hope this concept is clear for you, and we're going to end of these sessions here. And And just wanted to mention that this is like a continuous series of object-oriented programming, and the part 12 also came about the next topic will be inheritance polymorphism, which is most important topic that we used in object-oriented programming. So I hope everything is clear for you. We are covered following topic. As you can see, a class, object, then we see attributes for the class and object, then we see self parameter, static method, and the last we see a constructor. So we also see a few example of different methods, for example class, object, static method, and the last one is basically a constructor. So I hope it's clear for you. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for the future videos. If you want the source code, please check our website link. Here you can find all the information of the source code. The GitHub link is also attached there.